Our time is up. His time is now. Because today, the Montreal Canadiens are playing off against the Chicago Blackhawks. They've got Connor Bedard, Tyler Bertuzzi, Arvid Soderblom, and a whole bunch of other Blackhawks facing off against them today. Okay, I don't know if Soderblom's going to get the start. Maybe it's Spencer Knight. Who really knows? But today is going to be the beginning of the new world. A new time for the Montreal Canadiens in a time where we needed him most. Today is the debut of Ivan Demidov. Now, this video is titled Bad News for the Montreal Canadiens, and that is pretty much piggybacking off of yesterday, and the reason I'm making this video is because yesterday we did see ourselves some pretty particular events around the NHL that were not good for the Canadiens, but we can dive into the lines, we can dive into what we know about Demidov's inevitable debut today later in the show. I just wanted to talk in this video, though, about the circumstances and what Ivan Demidov is walking himself into on this day. I see clearly, if you head over to the NHL standings, you will find a surging Columbus Blue Jackets team. They had beaten the Washington Capitals yesterday. They had beaten the Washington Capitals 2 days ago. Jett Greaves both started in this back-to-back against the Caps, and the Blue Jackets won both of them. With the Capitals sitting out some guys, for example, John Carlson. Yeah, I have him on some of my fantasy teams. Guess what? He took yesterday off. Fantastic for me. But the Blue Jackets have literally won 4 games in a row here in their remaining 6 games of the regular season. And with a game against the Flyers tomorrow, and then a game against New York, the Islanders on Thursday, Columbus is in a spot where, if they win out, if they get the final 4 points in their remaining 2 games, they could overtake the Montreal Canadiens. The max amount of points the Blue Jackets could get is 89. Right now, the Habs have 88 points with 2 games to go. If the Montreal Canadiens lose a game in regulation, and then they lose a game in overtime, if the Blue Jackets win their remaining 2 games and both of these teams are tied at 89, then we're going to have to go to the tiebreakers. First tiebreaker, regulation wins. The Canadiens have 29, the Blue Jackets have 28. If the Blue Jackets win both of their games in overtime, for example, they get to 89 points, and the Canadiens lose in regulation and then lose in OT to 89 points as well, Montreal would make the playoffs via a tiebreaker because they have more regulation wins. If the Blue Jackets get 2 regulation wins, then that is perfect for them because they do have that overtake on Montreal. That's assuming Montreal doesn't win a game against Chicago or against Carolina. If the Habs go through the unlikely scenario of getting 2 loser points, they lose in overtime to Chicago, they lose in overtime to Carolina, then they would actually clinch the playoffs. They just need 2 points to clinch a playoff berth, because they would be out of reach of Columbus and their potential 89 total points. Montreal is in a really tight spot. They have the second tiebreaker unlocked. They've got 37 regulation and overtime wins. The Blue Jackets only have 32. But the first tiebreaker, regulation wins, the Habs only have a 1-win lead over CBJ. So, really, while it is fun for Canadiens fans to watch Columbus destroy Washington, to watch a battling, not down and out just yet, young, ambitious Columbus team fight from the shadows of Ovechkin's 896th goal and come out on top in back-to-back games, even though it's fun to see that go down, it's not good for the Montreal Canadiens. And yesterday and the day before yesterday's 2 wins for Columbus kept their playoff hopes alive. If they lose a game in regulation, then that's it. They're done. They need to at least get both of their next 2 games to overtime in order to have a chance at the playoffs. And of course, they also have to rely on Montreal to blow it and end up losing their games in regulation or in overtime. They can only afford 1 game to go to overtime. If the Canadiens get 2 points, they're done. The Habs have a 96.4% chance of making the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Blue Jackets have a 3.6% chance. Honestly, I feel like 3.6 is too low. I mean, just think about it. What are the odds that the Canadiens lose both of their games against Chicago and Carolina in regulation? And what are the odds that Columbus wins both of their next 2 games? Is it 3%? I don't know. It feels like it's a lot more attainable than that, but that's just me spitting off here. Ultimately, with this matchup today against the Chicago Blackhawks and Ivan Demidov stepping into the lineup with this debut on his hands, if he scores a freaking hat trick in his first NHL game to clinch a Stanley Cup playoff spot, I think Ivan Demidov has a legit chance to be heralded as a hero in his very first NHL game played. Imagine if Demidov scores like a game-winning goal with 2 minutes left in the third period to go up 5-4 against Chicago today. Imagine if he does that crazy stuff to send the Canadiens to the playoffs and Habs Nation absolutely freaks out. Demidov gets worshipped, Demidov gets praised to all hell, and the Blue Jackets get eliminated by a Russian dude, which I only think is notable because the Blue Jackets have so many Russians, young Russians themselves, Marchenko, Voronkov, Chinakov, Provorov, lots of Russian dudes on that Blue Jackets team. Of course, there's camaraderie there between the SKA guys and Demidov, but ultimately, this is it, man. This is it. The Habs have 2 chances to get 2 points to overtake the Columbus 89-point marker, and ultimately, they just gotta get 2. If they win a game, they are in the playoffs. Columbus can't catch them if they get 2 points in their remaining 2 games played, but if they lose both of them in regulation, ultimately that will be the dagger here. So Ivan Demidov's debut coming up later today against the Chicago Blackhawks. Ultimately, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel heading into this matchup? It's some pretty tough times for the Montreal Canadiens. Maybe not tough. Okay, that's the wrong word to use. Pretty worrisome times, maybe, is a more accurate way to describe it, because I know, Canadiens fans, y'all believe in the team, y'all love this team, y'all believe in this team, y'all love Demidov, y'all are excited, but would it not be accurate to say there is some worry about Columbus and their wins lately? I don't know. 3% odds, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the standings and the playoff race heading into Demidov's debut today. I hope you enjoyed this video. 99 and bye.